Aphton, thank you so much for letting me talk with you for a few minutes about your great short, 20 something. Why was this such an important story for you to tell in this Spark Shorts?
Hi, thanks. Well, I wanted to come up with do this idea because it really resonated with what I was going through during the time. I This is my first time directing. I had been in studio for only like 4 years, and I felt so green and so immature and like not ready to do this whole directing thing. Had they made a good choice, or did they make a mistake? And all of these feelings were already swirling in my head, and it felt like such a very specific story that needed to be told, of just the insecurities of being young and uncertain of doing adulting right.
I think we all got it. We all go through that. I found so much uh thinking of some of the dumb things I did at 2021 that I cringe now at. But obviously for you as a first time director is quite the opportunity. And I know I heard one of the other directors say that if I'm uncomfortable and if it's a challenge and it's something that I'm going to learn from. So how much fun did you have actually putting this together and then finally seeing the final product?
Oh, it was so much fun. Once I stopped listening to my own insecurity and got out of my own way, you realize that like you're not directing this alone. You're working with amazingly talented people, and they're helping you and to visualize something, some stupid ideas you have, and you're like, oh my god, this is so dumb, I shouldn't pitch it. But just like when you write something or board something, and then you have to kick off the scene where a guy cat calls after a character, and you're like, oh my god. And then you pitch it and people love it and they start laughing, and then they want to really animate it well, then you kind of start to have more confidence in your goofy ideas.
And I hope that this leads to bigger and goofier ideas that you can share. Heck, I interviewed somebody not so long ago who made an entire short on crossing the street. Let alone your story actually, talks about the insecurities of growing up. There's a specific moment in there where she grabs the menu and looks at the drinks, and it looks like a foreign alien language. I still feel that way sometimes when I go to bars. Like, I don't know what to get. I don't want to be that way. Yeah, that insecurity. It's very relatable, and so congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about your choice in animation? Why was that kind of almost like, I almost call it like a modern Doug type animation, which made it really fun actually.
I love that people keep trying to place it. I've gotten everything from Doug to like the 80s and 90s, which is so entertaining to me because my inspiration was based off of more vintage style UPA cartoons they used to do back in the day. And I looked at the New Yorker and Hank
Okay.
Ketchum, and who did Dennis the Menace. And I'm always inspired by Charles Schultz. It was very simplistic
Ah,
designs. And that I wanted to bring into animation. And then that with my animation supervisor, we talked about a lot of animation that was more simplified. A lot of anime does a really great job, especially anime directed for kids, like a Crayon
mhm.
Shinchan that's very simplified on more threes and fours. So we made our own weird spot, which lands for some people somewhere roughly in the 90s, which is so interesting to me. But yeah, it was fun. I love those really vintage classic styles, and wanted to see how I can bring that into the 2000s with the dot eyes and all of that fun. And it was exciting to see it come to fruition.
It's great to know that you just took a bunch of ideas and kind of made it your own thing. There's nothing real specific about it. That's awesome. I was real curious about your character and why those specific ages were the ones that you chose to represent her as finally that person trying to push towards adulthood.
Yeah, so I had a lot of different ages at first. I wasn't quite sure where I was going to land. And picking which ones were the most pivotal was a really interesting idea. For me, 16 or some teenager was always, I knew that I had to have that in there because it feels so, she feels like the one that I'm always trying to like fight against, not being rude or snappy or like moody or down on myself. I feel like, well, here comes the teenager again that I thought I'm past. And then figuring out who would be the most fun to play off of that. And out of that came one, because I think when you think of just like the first couple of years of your life where it's just primal. What do I want? What do I need? And how we have to learn how to communicate in a more efficient way. But every once in a while, those anger flashes or those hunger flashes get real, and it's back to that 1-year-old primal self. And then just trying to find an elementary school age that felt right. And I landed on 10, but basically this age to me, one of my favorite times in life, when you've got life figured out, everything seems cool. There's nothing to worry about. It's like the best age, I think. And so just having those 3 perspectives crammed together in a trench coat, trying to navigate through life felt like just the perfect amount once I whittled it down to those 3.
I think what I really enjoyed about it too was just how relatable it is, and how I can just spark a fun conversation afterwards with friends if you're watching it, or if you're watching it with your kid. Then it's like, well, when I was about that age, I did this and this, and so now that it's just so wholesome. It's great. So I'm excited to see what you do going forward. And asking you that because the question is, what did you learn from this process that you hope to build upon going forward?
Well, I learned a lot of things. One of them being I really liked being able to trust my team and not feeling like I had to pigeonhole them, letting them go, letting them just experiment, and then trusting that I can always reel it in if I need to. But I think allowing them that freedom allowed them to come back with some really amazing stuff that I wouldn't have been able to come up with on my own or direct them to get to. And it gives them their own ownership over the idea in a way that is really special. And I love that. And if I could keep some of that small show energy into a larger feature of allowing people to get a chance to riff on ideas, that would be something that I'd just love to incorporate moving forward.
I 100% agree with you. Delegating is tough. But yeah, like you said, beautifully said, it provides so many other perspectives. Last question, kind of simple. Do we ever really grow up, or do we keep those kids inside of us?
I hope not. I don't think we ever do. I think they're all in there, and I think I wouldn't have this job if they weren't still in there. This is the job of it, is the kids' job, and I think they're all, even though this short has the negative aspects of it, there's a lot of positives. A lot of positives to being young at heart and remembering to have fun and enjoy your adulthood at the same time.
Absolutely. Afton, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your short.
Thank you.
I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope to see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Take care.